Hello, one and all. Welcome to another episode of MMA Vision Analysis. Dan Hooker set to face Justin Gaethje for Gaethje's return fight. Will this fight produce the number one contender for that lightweight title? Will the winner of this fight get to face Islam Makhachev? If Islam is still the champion come that time, we're going to talk about this fight, UFC 313's, I believe, co-main event. We're going to talk about Justin Gaethje, Dan Hooker just a bit. Before getting started, make sure to like, subscribe, click that notification to get all of this that is new from this channel, your channel, the one and only MMA Vision Analysis. Dan Hooker, last time around, defeated Matthews Gamrot. Impressive performance from the Hangman, to say the least. Impressive tattoos, impressive performance, impressive facelifts for Dan Hooker's career, who's still relatively young. I'm not sure how old Dan Hooker is. I want to say like early 30s. Very impressive win against a respectable opponent last time around, Matthews Gamrot. Striking-wise, he was absolutely phenomenal. Was able to really pick apart Matthews Gamrot, and which was a shocker, really, I think, to most people. I think most thought that Matthews had that one. Unfortunately for him, that was not the case. Dan Hooker, propels himself back up to the top of that division and in the conversation all of a sudden again after his, it kind of seemed hopeless for him for a while, after the Poirier and obviously the Michael Chandler fight was not the best, obviously, of moments for Dan Hooker throughout his entire career. But now, after a couple impressive performances, especially last time around, as we said it against Matthews Gamrot, respectable opponent, Dan Hooker, I don't know what's changed, aside from, getting tattoos, but the guy's most certainly is operating on a different just different frequency at this point. He's just different from the Dan Hooker that was defeated against Michael Chandler, Justin Poirier. Now he finds himself against Justin Gaethje for Gaethje's return fight. Fantastic fight for Gaethje. And you would assume that the winner of this fight faced the champion of the division sometime end of year 2020 or beginning of the year 2026. Justin Gaethje coming back, I believe this comeback fight is phenomenal just because I think it puts him back on track towards that title. He took that BMF title fight, UFC 300, against the natural smaller guy coming from the featherweight division, Max Holloway. He got knocked out in what became, I believe, known as the knockout of the year that year. And obviously, that fight was perhaps contender, a fight of the year. Like we said, the fact that Gaethje finds himself in there against Dan Hooker kind of puts him back on track, towards a title shot. Because like we said, when he got knocked out, to Max Holloway, he lost his number one contender spot and he lost his title. Speaking of Max Holloway, if I'm not mistaken, last time around, we heard of Max. Well, the very last time that we heard news circulating about Max, news suggested that the next move for him was going to be that lightweight move. So maybe Max can give Justin Gaethje a opportunity to get the rematch. Shot at his BMF title. I don't think Gaethje would be opposed to such proposition. I don't know if Max is willing to do so. If Dan Hooker, Justin Gaethje were to face each other, you would expect that this would be a number one contender matchup. You would expect Gaethje, if he was to beat Hooker, to face the champion of the division. I don't know if Hooker gets a title shot, in all honesty. Perhaps he would. If he was to beat Gaethje, Maybe not, but I think if Gaethje beats Dan Hooker, then he gets a title shot next. If I'm not mistaken, Islam Makhachev expressed interest in fighting Justin Gaethje. He's one of the guys that, he obviously didn't fight Dan Hooker either, but I think Gaethje is one of those guys that really deserves a title shot. I think this guy is a phenomenal athlete, fantastic fighter, and just a top tier entertainer. If you made it this far, I appreciate you for sticking around. Please let me know what you think in the comments. Like, subscribe for more.